Namaste, y'all. Got another fun one for you today. Financial struggles ahead? Question mark. What's up, y'all? I'm Timothy the Tiger, and I'm an evangelist, which means a messenger of the great news of King Jesus Christ. He personally has helped me heal physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, it is part of my dharma, part of my purpose here on earth, to make these videos to hopefully inspire all of y'all to enter into a relationship with God. So, are we going to face financial hardships in the future? So, when I go to the gym, I see glimpses of the TV and everyone freaking out about the stock market and all. But I just want to point out that the S&P 500, which is quote unquote the market, is still up. If you look at the past year, it's down about 11-12%, which is, yeah, sure, that's a big down. But if you look at the past 5 years, it's up about 107%. So over the last 5 years, the market is way up. And so for the market to be up over 100% over the last 5 years, but it's down 10% over the past year, that's not that big of a deal. That's just a correction. And, I'm not a fan of Donald, but the media, MSM, is going to do everything to make him look like a bad guy and keep people in fear and keep people divided and all that. And it's just they've been doing this forever, y'all, and just hopefully you can see through the veil, that they're just trying to manipulate your emotions and keep you in a state of fear. And like my previous video, we're living in the end times, we're living in the last days. Economic crisis is a part of the game, and that's why it's important just to find shelter in God. So what do I have here? I've got false idolatry. In God we trust. So on the back of the dollar bill it says "In God we trust," and just want to point out that that is not talking about the real God. That is the false God. That is the God of this world, Satan, and people worship the dollar. They do, and yeah, this country, the West, the world in general, could use some humbling, because people have more faith in the dollar than they do in God, and it's definitely a false idol. And yeah, I would not be surprised that us Americans, we have a day where we finally get humbled and realize that the dollar is worthless, and that the real worth is, there's a Bible quote where it's saying essentially store up your riches in heaven, where essentially they can't gather dust, where they're eternal. And that, if you're an investor, that's the real investment, is your spiritual investments, because those are eternal, and those riches are stored up in heaven, and they'll be there after this life. But storing up riches in this life, once we die, we don't keep the riches with us. And so it's just part of the illusion, and it's just what are your priorities in your life? And another Bible quote, the love, keyword love, the love of money is the root, another keyword, of all evil. So if you ever done any gardening, you're getting the weeds out, you got to get the weeds out by the roots. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. And so the root of all evil is the love of money, or another word, the greed. And yeah, it's just I'm just pointing out some things financially, and just again looking at our society. People love money, and yeah. And so in the future, what they're trying to implement are these CBDCs, which are central bank digital currencies, and they want to roll out what's called the digital dollar. And I think it's as far as I know, it's just going to be complete control. Everything is going to be monitored, and even more so than what it is now. Be a cashless society, and yeah, you can do your own research on CBDCs, but right now we're using plastic credit cards and paper money, and this CBDC system is going to be more advanced and using the AI, and essentially this current financial system that we have, is a bit archaic. Like, everything's already digital, but we're still using paper money. Yeah, it's only a matter of time before that goes. It's just like everything is online, everything is digital, but it's a bit archaic at this point to still be using paper money. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we have a kind of like a staged transitionary period where they roll us into CBDCs, but they're going to have to crash the economy first. It's like, yeah, that problem, reaction, solution. So the problem is crashing the economy. There's going to be the reaction of everyone in chaos and panic, and then the solution will be CBDCs, the digital dollar. It's called the Hegelian dialectic, something like that. And then last down here, I have crypto is a hedge against inflation. So the dollar is going to keep inflating, and a way to protect your finances is to invest in. Oh, I gotta say, as I always say, like, I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, obviously not. I'm a yogi, and but I'm just saying, crypto can be a hedge against inflation, and so. When we see these huge spikes in the price of crypto, really it's just kind of balancing things out. It's just showing how worthless the dollar is, and that people would rather store their money in cryptocurrency than the dollar. And so if we do go into a stage of hyperinflation, don't be surprised to see a lot of money flock into the crypto market and crypto just to skyrocket. And a lot of people online in the Christian prophetic dream community, you can find the videos here on YouTube, but they'll talk about like what's called the wealth transfer, and I don't know if that's real or not. Sounds great, that'd be awesome. But there seems to be a lot of people who claim to have had dreams about a supposed wealth transfer, and that'll be done through cryptocurrencies. But this is just a temporary thing, because they're gonna eventually crack down on all of it, and just because they just want their CBDCs, they just want their digital dollar. They want complete control. They don't want us to have autonomy and independence. And so I feel like this crypto wealth transfer thing would only be a temporary window where we use that, and we use it however God wants us to use it, to help others, or maybe get off grid and get a farm and help people that way. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But this is just a video where you're not going to see something like this on the news, and these are just the things that are on my mind, and I wouldn't be surprised to see. And yeah, and in that scenario, I mean, it is good. I would say it's not a bad idea, not out of a state of fear or panic, but to be stored up on filtered water and foods that can last a while, like rice and beans, that kind of thing, and some extra lighters and propane so they can cook the food, and extra batteries and candles. Not going extreme prepper mode, but it's not a bad idea to have, like, say, a 1 month supply, whereas if anything were to go down and you're not able to go to the store, it's not a big deal. You got 1 month of candles and batteries and electricity, and maybe you got a generator. You got 1 month of water. I mean, let's hope the water doesn't shut off, but I mean, the water's crap anyways. It's all fluoridated and full of chemicals. And a month of food. It's not a bad idea, y'all. It's not a bad idea to have that. Even like a week of water. A month of water is a lot, but 7 days of water, you can easily do that. You can go to the grocery store. You can easily fill up a grocery cart full of 7 days worth of water. It's just a good thing to do, and I don't think it's out of a state of like fear or panic. It's just it's being a bit logical and rational, being like, yeah, I mean, there are some uncertainties in the world, and I mean, there's currently wars going on in this world right now where people don't have easy access to the things I just listed, and if you're getting like a week supply, a month supply, it's not that crazy. Some people go like 3 months, 6 months, a full year. They get bunkers, like that. People go full on prep mode. I'm just saying, like a solid week where it's like, if anything were to go down, it's like, I'm good. I got a week supply, and you just hold out for a week, So hopefully y'all found this video inspirational, and I hope you enter into a relationship with God and realize that finances are important, but obviously the most important thing is the wealth that we have with God, the wealth that we develop with God. I'm talking about the spiritual wealth. That's where it's really at, because all of us our bodies are gonna die. The real us is gonna live on. Our soul will live on, and if we haven't made that spiritual progress and developed that relationship with God, it's kind of like this life was a big waste of time. Because there's plenty of like quote unquote rich people here on earth right now that have zero relationship with God, zero spiritual progress, and And when their body dies, they're going to be in for a rude awakening and realize they were tricked by the Maya, by the illusion, by the game, and realize they failed at the game of life. Yeah, sure, like we could look at it and be like, wow, they're so successful. They have so much money. Look at their nice car. Look at their nice house. Look at their big bank account. But they have zero spiritual progress, zero spiritual awareness, zero relationship with God. And so when their body dies, they failed. Like we might look at it and be like, wow, they're winning. It's like they're not, sadly. They're failing. And there's several scriptures in the Bible about, rich men. What is it, like it's easier for a camel to find the eye of a needle in a haystack than it is for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven? Something like that. And there's other quotes in the Bible about rich men, essentially how they're just blinded by their earthly wealth, that they think they're all good, and they're so comfortable in it that it's like, oh, like I don't need God. I already got everything set. Like I got a big house. I got all the food. I got everything I need, all the luxuries, all the comforts. Like, why do I need God? I got everything I already have. And then that's the downfall for the rich man, for the rich woman, is that they don't think they need God. And it's unfortunate and it's sad. And that's why a humbling like this that I'm talking about in this scenario will happen to this country. Well, I'm not saying will, but it wouldn't surprise me that something like this will happen to the country, because there's a lot of prideful people just like this that I just described, that they're like, I don't need God. And they're going to be in for a rude awakening. And when they realize that their bank account is drained and there's no food at the grocery store and there's no water coming out of the faucet, they're going to realize they're not so strong and independent as they thought they were. And people might begin to, hopefully be more open-minded to a creator, and realizing that we need to humble ourselves and realize that we rely on God. Like even like things like, like my hair growing and my nails growing and my heart beating and my digestive system working, like I have no control over that. That's all by the grace of God. Like if God stopped letting the life force inside of me let this body function, like this thing's done. Like we're not as free as like and independent as we think we are. Like in a lot of ways we really depend upon God. And yeah, it's just like, be grateful for the air, be grateful for the water that we drink, be grateful for the food that we eat, because it's not always guaranteed tomorrow. And especially if we're living in the end times, the last days, it's definitely not guaranteed. And so I try to be grateful every day for the relatively peacefulness that I get to experience. And I go to the store and it's full, the shelves are full, the produce section's completely full, and there's clean water that I can buy from the store. And very grateful for that, because I do realize that this isn't always guaranteed. And in that scenario where it starts to become more uncertain, people are going to act pretty chaotic and pretty animalistic, and that won't be fun. And but that's when they're going to need God the most, and that's when us who love God will be there to hopefully help them and help others that are in need, and just share the great news of King Jesus Christ. That's the whole point of being here. The whole point of being here is to be in relationship with God. So thanks y'all for listening to this message. I appreciate you. May God bless all y'all. Namaste.